All right, welcome to our Everyday Podcast listeners. I'm your host, Brad Weems. I'm live here from Market Street Media in downtown Johnson City today. Today's guest is the owner of Absolute Fitness in LaFollette, Tennessee. Today's guest is Coach Tim Zupancic. How's it going?
Doing great. Glad to be here. Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
obviously your son is a coach with us at Thunder Valley. He's been a huge asset to the gym and facility and the culture. He's known as the drill sergeant around the gym.
Really.
So, yeah. Then obviously it's been awesome having Skylar up here at ETSU.
Yeah.
Been helping out with babysitting the kids. So
Yeah, thank
you've
you
got
for taking care of
you've,
my kids.
you've got some amazing kids. So why not talk to the guy that raised them and get to know you a little bit better? So I got a lot I want to talk about today, just kind of all over the place. Your background, obviously, the creation of Absolute Fitness. I want to talk to you about parenting today. I want to talk to you about the upcoming weightlifting meet at ETSU this weekend.
Mhm.
And we got a couple listener questions already came in today after you posted on Instagram. So,
Oh, really?
um, yeah. So anyway, and I saw you put up, it's your first podcast today.
Yeah, first time doing something like this. Pretty cool.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, for people that don't know you, give us a little bit of background about you, where you grew up, how you got into athletics, and anything else maybe you want to share.
Okay. Well, I'm actually originally from upstate New York, Utica, New York, and but I've been down here now more than half my life. But of course, like everyone, we played every sport, did everything. Went on to University at Buffalo. Thought I was going to be a football player. Then I realized I was only 5'8", little guy. I wasn't going to be a good quarterback. So many head injuries over time kind of got me exposed to the athletic training side of things. And I actually started out as an engineering student after talking with my buddies, seeing what they're doing in class and what I was doing. I thought that sounds like a lot more fun doing athletic training stuff and exercise science. So I switched degrees, switched my path, and did an exercise science major and athletic training. Did an internship, was tired of the cold of Buffalo, and headed south. So I did an internship in Kentucky, ended up down here in Tennessee shortly after. While at school, also met my now wife, and she's also an exercise science major there. And so we kind of just moved down here and got settled in. Worked in physical therapy for a couple of years, and working with the local high school doing athletic training skills, work for taping and stuff like that, injury evaluation. But I always did personal training on the side ever since I was in college. I always kind of did a little for side cash, worked at training studios and stuff, focusing mostly on personal training aspect of stuff. So I always had that going. And then one day I just sort of got burnt out on therapy and decided, you know what, I'm just going to go all in and just start my own training business. At the time, I was just helping out a buddy here who was running a gym. That was back in '98. And
This is in Tennessee?
Yeah, this is down in Tennessee. Yep. And
Okay.
just getting started out. We live about 40 minutes north of Knoxville. So I would hustle. I'd go start 5 o'clock in the morning up here training. I'd run down to Knoxville about mid-afternoon sometimes, go down there, train, come back, train, sometimes go back. I started working with teams. And so that's kind of what my little niche I really like doing, is working like performance stuff with teams and individuals. Of course, I've been all over the board really along the way, just trying to help people out as I can go. But in 2006, I had the opportunity to buy the place. So I took over and finally got a brick and mortar place. And we've just been expanding and growing since then. Kind of got in more of the big classes stuff, doing the cross training. We call it Z-Fit here. Just cross-training functional fitness stuff. And all along the way, I've been training teams and just really it's been a blessing. Just been enjoying life. It's something Absolute actually is a project I did back in college days of designing our own program. So it's just like the years have just been accumulation and just formulation of what I had thought of years ago, just as a school project, what I really wanted. And just kind of been blessed and worked out for me.
So was it your athletic background that made you want to work with athletes versus
Yeah, I
like
think just enjoyed it. Yeah, just one of the, it's obviously the competitive nature of most athletes, now. Just that's my draw because I'm super competitive on everything. And so yeah, and having been involved in athletics my whole life, it was just a way to stay connected and you know, and I just think there's so much to be gained, not just from athletics, you know, right now, you know, I've just even from the barbell, just lifting weights, you know, there's so many lessons to be learned. But I just really enjoy, uh, you know, the challenge of athletics, because you're really trying to, you know, everyone wants to be in shape, and that's great, but the challenge that come along with, you know, performance enhancing, you know, really finding the details and trying to find that little bit of something that gives them an edge, is just, you know, great. And it's different with everybody. So you really
Hmm.
kind of got to look at
Something
things.
you said there, you said you can learn so much from the barbell. Can we dig a little deeper on that? And
Sure. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I actually wrote, one thing I did do is wrote a little ebook called Lessons from the Barbell. And I just feel like there's so much to be taught, because, you know, in the weight room, nothing's given. You have to earn every single bit of it. I mean, it's tough. So you start learning to develop some grit, but you got to be consistent. Just like, you know, that's, you know, the success principles are the same all around, I believe. Um, and I've heard you talking, if you like, you know, follow all those. There are certain success principles that work for everything we do. It's just life. But with the barbell, it's not something that you can inherit. You can't pass it down from generation to generation. You know, that's why I'm proud of my kids. You know, I mean, Timmy's gone and earned it, every bit of it. You know, he took something passionate I had and just taking the next step further, even. So you just, you know, some things are always tough, and that's how it is with the weight room. You know, you're going to go, you might start out, you know, everything's good, lots of progress. Then sometimes it's like, what's happening? I'm not doing it, not going anywhere. You know, but you got to just keep pounding, you know, and then next thing you know, we're going to hit another peak. And it's kind of the same thing, you know, I think with life, you know, we're always going to have our ups and downs. We're going to have tough days, but sometimes you just got to go in there and grind it out, you know, and just stick with it, with your plan, and stick to the process. And next thing you know, you come out on the other side and everything's, you know, just where the plan is, where you want it to be. And of course, and along the way, some things don't work. So you got to make some adjustments too. Just like
right.
we do in training, you know, we got to try to, you know, change our methods and plans as we learn more and those kind of things. But, and then just, I say the mental toughness with it that goes along with life, just something to be said. You know, I could tell as I worked in the years of therapies, I could tell the athletes, and, you know, just from mirror what they think is painful or just comfort kind of stuff of trying to rehab people. You can tell the people that have been around the barbell and worked out a little bit, their thresholds are a little bit higher, and, you know, tolerance level of things, you know, just tough situations seem to be a lot better.
Yeah, and for you listeners that have never really done any barbell work, yeah, there are so many comparisons with what Coach is saying and just life, and the fact that when you start working with a barbell, you'll see progression real fast initially. But I mean, for example, like it sometimes can take athletes 6 to 9 months of hard work and keeping at it in order just to hit a 5 pound PR
Yeah.
on a lift. So you just got to keep putting in that grind on a daily basis, and even on the bad days, just keep at it.
Yeah. That's people don't realize. They see these quick gains, and that's why the Olympics are every 4 years, right? There's world records broken by kilos that take 4 years to get there.
Right.
How many people are willing to do the same thing over and over again for 4 years just to go 1 kilo more? You know,
Right.
that's
Right.
dedication of the process.
So let's talk about you decided to purchase the business and maybe some, uh, just the struggles or maybe some of the things you learned by taking on the new position of a manager or owner.
Yeah, well, it was definitely I say that's, and I even now still feel like that's why I lack some of the business savvy, if you will.
Hmm.
But I think what I've done is just override everything just through passion and, you know, of just doing things with the right motives. Really, honestly,
Hmm.
early on, that's kind of one of the changes I made. Really, you know, I'm sure you've been through it as well. But like, of course, you take on this new business. I just got married. Everything was like we had kids and everything, and you're always just, you know, you just got to go do what you can. You're hustling, trying to get everything, chasing. You know, got to do this. Got to try to make everything happen. But what I realized after a couple of years of just pounding, trying to always worrying about, you know, how am I going to, you know, pay these bills? How are we going to get, get this equipment? and that stuff. That all that really didn't matter. I needed to get back to why I did it all, and that's basically to make an impact on everybody's lives in our community. We try to change the community from the health and fitness standpoint, and I just wanted to leave an impact with what I do, and not worry about so just go above and beyond, always going that extra mile for everybody, regardless of what it was. It was just the 80-year-old lady or the 10-year-old beginning athlete or the NFL guy, treat them all the same, and really just pour into them as much as I can and stop worrying about it. And then it seemed like all those other things just started falling into place with a lot less worry. The clients I thought I had to get just started coming. And, I started getting good people working for me, which is always great. You got to, fortunate where I did work with athletes, most of those athletes, which of now it's like I feel like I've had hundreds of kids over the years because they all like mine. And, they've worked for me, and I still stay in contact with them. So that's all just great. But yeah, so I guess over the years, just the learning curve for me has been, I guess sometimes I'm not that smart, but I can cipher things pretty well. So I figure it out, but it's just really sticking to my original core value and trying to make sure that stays in there all the time. And that's just really trying to make an impact and do everything I can to help whoever's coming to, in a positive manner. We got, we have a true family culture here at Absolute. And it's just, everyone's very well connected, and just trying to maintain that. I think this push the business to the next level on it in itself. That's what the key is, not really.
I think if people can see your passion and see that you care about them, they're willing to, let you. They're willing to forgive you whenever maybe everything's not perfect with the business.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, for
So,
sure. Yeah, you don't have to have the fancy stuff if you're there. If they know your heart's there, it doesn't matter what kind of equipment you got,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
So what's cool about Absolute is you guys have your typical standard gym where you come in and do your own thing, but you also do the training as well. And then you started Z-Fit. When was that?
That was probably around, I think I was, let's say, as I first took over, and then we expanded a little bit, and then I had opportunity to go back. So it was basically like a traditional kind of, like I said, open gym. And as everyone that kind of visits from I think I lost you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Screen on. And it's kind of like more of the old school feel gym, with just, nothing super fancy like the clubs. It's just an old school gym. I wouldn't say it's a fitness center, but and then so about 2008 or 9, I think it was, when I expanded back and got another 4,000 square feet and just put a turf area down. And that was kind of my just performance training area. I always sort of worked my athletes. We used whatever we could in the main gym, but now I finally had an area where we can do drills and all kinds of things. I can bring teams in as a whole. And and then just from that, the funny part was my Z-Fit classes sort of they just sort of fell into place unintentionally. I was training some of my clients, and I worked out with one of my, became friends, of course, over the years. So we were just training together, and I used to call it the weekend warrior hour, because we're just a bunch of old guys still want to train like athletes. And we did the same stuff I was training my athletes with, and next thing you know, another buddy would come in and they want to try, let me get into some of that. So then, and it turned into, now all of a sudden we got 5 or 6 of us there. And then some of the ladies were like, we want to do that. And the next thing you know, it just turned into a class. And one of the guys in the class, he's the one that tagged it Z-Fit because of my name, of course. And it just sort of, because I was calling it the Warrior Hour, and they just tagged it along. Then I couldn't get rid of it. So that's just kind of how that all evolved.
So did it look more like or sport-specific training, or more like CrossFit?
It's actually more like sport-specific training. We did, just like train math. We did our Olympic lifts. We did some plyos. We did a lot of carries and pushing and pulling, and it just evolved into when, like I said, the CrossFit thing come on one time. We saw that, we're like, oh, we got to do that. Of course, it's the same but different, just in a little bit in how they tweak things. But so we were kind of already there, just a new experience, and that just, of course, made it a fun, competitive aspect to kind of do what we were doing.
Right.
So we started doing that, and it was kind of fun. Hmm.
No, you definitely trained Tim well. Hopefully nobody at ETSU's listening, but if he's ever came in and thrown down with us in a CrossFit class, kids doing triple unders and strict
Really,
muscle ups, and just it's crazy to see. It's real fun whenever
you
you
have to
kind of break.
ask him about the time I beat him on the muscle ups competition we had to do, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll be
he
sure
didn't
and
want to
ask
listen
him
to
about
that, so yeah, ask him about that one. That's the one I can hold over him.
that. So here recently, I've noticed that you've started really having a passion about these kids that you're taking these Olympic
Yeah,
weightlifting meets. Let's talk about that and like where this. I mean, obviously you've had this passion forever, but I'm
right.
seeing you now like every other weekend on your Instagram. It's you're with this person at this meet, and then obviously, are you bringing up athletes this weekend?
Yeah, well, I was supposed to. My one little girl, she broke her toe on vacation last week, so she's
Oh
out.
no.
Yeah,
So the only athlete you got going this weekend is yourself and Tim.
yeah, so just
So
me. Yeah, and but yeah, so it's about 2 years ago, and actually kind of like where I've been training athletes over the years. Have all these high school kids. I've sort of noticed uh, really a decline in that competitive nature, and it's kind of I look at it as a societal thing, honestly. Uh, there's just no one's super competitive. I got to try to motivate them to get in the while they're here. It's like, and I feel like if you're here, your parents are paying, to get you this extra attention, specialized, coaching, and to learn how to be better yourself. You shouldn't need an energy drink or need someone to come motivate. You should come through the door walking fast and ready to roll. And I just noticed a decline. My last group of what I feel like has been the age group is probably those guys are like 24 to 26 now. I used to have a group, and I didn't have to do anything. You put them in a room together, competition was on. I mean, I almost had to try to hold them back because everything turned into a competition kind of thing. We're
hmm
trying to learn a skill maybe, and they're competing. And I just saw a decline, I feel like, in that just motivation, drive, work ethic, all those things. And again, like I say, you learn so much from the barbell. So I started decided I was going to do a weightlifting club just to teach kids, keep it simple, the two lifts, and base everything around that. And just help teach them, well, I started this club. I'm not, really, they know that they're going to learn they got to clean the gym some. We got to spend at least 15 minutes a week cleaning. Uh, they're going to learn to, respect, where we talk about integrity. That's my, so that was kind of my goal with the weightlifting club, and then if we can have built great athletes along the way, that's a bonus. But my real purpose with the club was really to help start to develop a new generation of, good young men and women, good people, good humans that are, back to what I feel has been lost, in my opinion. And that's just hardworking, good, good manners, some integrity, and just, a little competitive edge. There's too many people giving out awards all the time, in my opinion. And I told them from day one, not everyone's going to progress here. We're even going to have like a class system so that you got motivation to get here, and
hmm
drive to work. And on top of, honoring and respecting the guys that have put in the work, guys or girls. I got some stud little girls. And so that kind of started the Milo Strength weightlifting club. And that's kind of where that's going. And for me, I look at it as, I might not always want to run the gym. I figure sooner or later there's got to be an end point there. But
hmm
I like the idea of being like one of those old retired guys, but always coaching my weightlifters, being able to take them on the weekend trips, and things growing like that. That's kind of, I look at Milo as my retirement plan. Not so I don't ever
Love it.
really stop training.
So that kind of takes me back to about a year ago. You know, Timmy, he would not let me tell me no when it came to giving him a job at the gym. And he's in one day and he's was saying, literally, I'll do anything. So I said, all right, there's chalk on the rig over there. Go clean the rig. And he had his AirPods in. I said, what are you listening to? And he was telling me Chop Wood, Carry Water. I'd heard of it before. I'd never read it or listened to it. And basically, what it seems like you're doing with your club is exactly what takes place in that book,
Yeah,
talking about respect and the grunt work and not about the PRs but the process rather.
right. That's exactly right.
So
Yep. And I stress that, we try to stress that, and I really feel like I try to do that daily with all my members and clientele. I try to and try to lead that, show that by how I go about my day, trying to be positive and that goal about doing everything right. It's what I tell the kids in class. We know that's why I hashtag is striving for excellence daily, is that, which I like to hear about every day as well, because it's like, I tell them, even when you're cleaning, if you're cleaning a toilet or whatever for your mom, do it great. Be great at every aspect of your life. I mean, as we say, you want to do everything like you're doing it for the Lord, and that means you do it well, even the little things. And
Right.
And that's where it just pays off.
Well, how you do anything is how you do everything.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Is what I believe.
Yeah.
But no, that takes me back to one of the things that really I remember my dad stressing to me when I was young was he said, I don't care what you do when you grow up, just do it the best you can.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but let's talk about this weightlifting meet this weekend. Are we going to find out who Big Tim is and who Little Tim is?
Well, I think I think we'll probably both be able to watch him, because I'll probably be done with my list by the time he's doing his first one.
I swear I thought he had told me that you all were going to be in the same.
We are. We're in the same. We are in the same session. Yeah, we are. So that's gonna be fun. But I think I'll have all three of my attempts in before he does his opener, I believe, because he's gotten me significantly now. He's definitely Big Tim on the platform.
we were just cutting up at gym about 2 weeks ago, and he pulled up a YouTube channel of his, and it was you coaching him during the it was 15.1 CrossFit Open workout. So that was one you had like 3 gymnastics, and I think that was the year they did a 5 or 6 minute clock to find a max clean and jerk. And he was doing his clean, and he just really went hard on that third pull. And he it went into the rack position, but it was like more on the neck, and he fell on his back. And I'm just watching you in this video, and you're not even like scared or worried that he's okay as much as you're like, come on, bro, how'd you miss that lift?
Yeah, I was pretty tough on him.
And I was like, what'd you have in that bar? And he's like, I have about 100 pounds or something. And look at him now,
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
286 pounds in jerk or something. So just a matter of 6 years or so. I don't know. But no, I'm going to try and make it over there and watch you guys this weekend. We'll see what happens. But
should be a fun time.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think it's pretty cool that they have Tim putting it all together and run the show.
No problem with that. Yeah, he's kind of doing really well. We can't be more proud of me and his mom.
So I've got a 5 and 2-year-old boys, and 5-year-old just started kindergarten. 2-year-old, he's coming into the world, learning how to talk, realizing what life's about. So look at your kids, and I know Skylar and Tim, and they're just super highly motivated kids. Like Tim has this goal of being a millionaire, having $1 million in the bank by 35. And sometimes I test him on that. Like there was a Saturday, my wife and I were supposed to go somewhere at 1:30, and we had our babysitter cancel at 12:45. And I told him, I said, I'll pay $25 an hour if you could be here in 30 minutes. And he dropped everything he's doing. He's over there at the house.
Did he?
Yeah, it was awesome. And then Skylar's the same way. Always taking on work and just real cool. Obviously, Tim has his side hustle of the trash business over at the apartment complex. But I wanted to ask you, what principles did you instill in them at an early age that made them turn out to be hustlers like this?
I mean, I think, I don't know, just honestly, I think a lot of it is just I was blessed also, part of the way I was able to build everything here. I did it all with them either on my back in a backpack or or carrying around on my hip or just following me around. I mean, they literally grew up around me and building this gym and training all those years. And I think just being consistent. Of course, like I say, sometimes it's good and bad. I really kept a high standard. Probably, a lot of people might have thought, especially early on, that they're too young to know. And I just kept a high standard all the time. I don't know. It's so I think it was looked at as super strict and too stern from many people. But I wasn't worried, honestly. What other people thought of how it was. I just wanted my kids to make sure they were, you know, good kids. Very polite. I didn't want that. But I think mostly just seeing me trying to do the best I can on everything. Always
Leading by
trying to.
example.
Yeah, I think it was more like they said we show that when they see more, they learn more what they see than what they hear. But I think it was, and that was just the side effect of them always being there. And they were fortunate also too, as during those training years, I've had, some great clients, great athletes. So they saw them working and they knew what kind of standard we had there from them. And it just sort of carried over. I'll say all my time, my wife's my better 90%. She balances, she's my balance to everything I do basically. And especially with the kids though. But I mean, that obviously helps as well. But I think just, and I push them, but I feel like I, try to do my best to show them that I'm proud and that I love them and all, that there's rewards, and that kind of stuff, that I'm grateful for that, but not just to push, for anything. Like I say, and I try to get them to understand even it's more about, the process in which you can do, and about, same thing. I want their goals and dreams to be the same, as far as, making sure they know they leave an impact, an imprint in the world, not just some numbers or something like that. They need to make a difference, is the big thing. But,
so Tim's actually watching right now. He just chipped in. He said he learned how to work hard because of everything you did to keep him on the motocross track when he was younger. So let's dive into that for a second.
Well, let's say we spent a lot of time. It was great times, but it was, something I look back now and I think, I don't know how my body did it, because, I'd go to work, be at the gym by 5 a.m. and get off at 9. Then we'd go racing all week and leave Friday night. We didn't have to. Sometimes I'd take off early Friday, or if we had a big weekend, I might leave on a Thursday night. But we race all weekend, come back late Sunday night, and unload the camper and do all this stuff, and then I'll be back at it and first thing Monday morning, or through the week. Even when we race local, I've spent many nights tuning a bike up until I was learning that as well. I was learning how to be a mechanic, so I spent many nights trying to get bikes tuned up till 12, 1 in the morning, working through the week to get them practice time and all those things. And still had to go work because I was still building my business at the time. Still just in the early stages, and just.
So were you into motocross, or was this something that Tim wanted to do?
I kind of always did growing up. I wasn't very good at it, and I didn't have the area. Of course, growing up more of a city environment, it wasn't something I got to do a whole lot of. My dad took me when he could and stuff, but yeah, I joked Timmy, by the time he was 8, he was on a 50. He was jumping farther, and he's way faster than I ever was on a bike. At the age of 8 years old, he was doing stuff that I never dreamt. I only dreamt about doing. So, but yeah, so we've had some good times with that, and that goes with like say, I never really treated my kids like babies. We don't do baby talk. We never, obviously once they started talking, we talk to them normal like adults and stuff, and it's kind of funny because sometimes again I think, well, maybe they grew up too fast, but they got a lot of experience and new life experiences that a lot of other kids, they're playing with. Some kids are playing with little action figures, and he's jumping a dirt bike 30, 40 feet in the air. And, it's kind of fun, big changes, and he can always start diagnosing, telling me what was going on, that something wasn't right, and he was able to do that at an early age. He really had a knack for, a lot of times I didn't know what he meant, and we figured it out later, but he was on point.
So going back to what I was asking you a few moments ago about what principles you instilled in your kids, you were talking about basically leading by example. So who was your influence? Was it your parents, or Did you
Yeah,
have
for
some?
sure. My parents, I think I've been lucky enough to have some great coaches along the way. Uh, I mean, I think a couple of my high school coaches, of course, my dad was, super strict, felt like, but again, I see why. It was one of those you thought it was horrible when you were a kid. And then as you get older, you realize, it wasn't too bad. I understood where he was going with some stuff. And,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I've tried to, be a blend of that, I guess. But I've had some uh, good coaches in high school uh, that just, you know, influenced me. But I don't know. That's just a multiple of just along the way. Even one of my professors at school, honestly, I think made a big impact. Just the way he addressed us in class and how he made a point how we're always, holding at a high standard. And just one of those things we have to do in school
Yeah.
that not everybody agree with. But I was kind of always had, like I said, I've had this dream of just doing something big. Uh, and big's relative. I'm not, it's just how impactful we can be, I guess. I've realized now as I'm getting older, my big's kind of changed.
Right.
You know, uh,
How old are you, Tim?
I'm 48.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they always say you have to surround your people that push you to be better. So who are you pushing? Like, how do you stay so motivated? Who's pushing you, or is there anybody you? Is it a book you read, or is there somebody you listening to?
Yeah, I've been through multiple books, trying to do personal growth and different things. Uh, I try to when I've got introduced to people in town here, guys with different business. I got a good buddy and two good buddies in real estate, and one owns a carpet store and stuff, carpet and paint, and just their mentality. I feed off that. Just being around that, how they think. Early on, that was kind of my thing. Early on, what I didn't really know, I just try to see what the people that I looked at that thought were successful. Some people were my mentors without even knowing they're my mentors. I just sort of watch and see how they're doing things, and I try to do my version of that with the best I can until it became sort of natural. But that and say I've read Chop Wood, Carry Water, Pound the Stone. The Secret, really, the book The Secret is just a simple book. Um, and a lot of and I've been really just pushing myself in over the years. A big change has been really uh, just in my faith of all that. I've always had it, that's kind of, but we've been, I've got a small group in my church now that really pushes me, changes my, keeps everything balanced out and stuff like
Hmm.
that. That's a big thing, staying connected, but trying to, I am always trying to learn just as far as educationally, I'm constantly trying to see what's going on. Not the new and fancy stuff, but really get the base knowledge of what's what the human, as far as comes to the human body and performance and even mental aspects of training now, which is starting to become bigger and bigger.
And I think the
Focus.
mental aspect really is getting to be more
Yeah.
important almost than the physical.
Yep. I believe so. They're starting to realize, especially everything where athletes are amazing now and stuff and just people and, even over the years of 20, 25, 30 years of training people, I realize it's all mental anyways, even just the general health and fitness of people, their well-being, the well-being clients. It's honestly, it is all mental. That's what you learn you're dealing with most of. It's just trying to keep people in the best mental mind frame you can. Uh, but yeah, so.
Um, so one of those listener questions I wanted to shoot at
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
Who is the fitter athlete, Bo or Max Ferris?
Well, I'm going to have to go with overall. They're putting me on the spot, but I think actually Max is probably the fitter athlete. However, Bo's kind of like got that. He's got that grit about him that when it comes down to it, he always comes. He seems to really get like it's almost like having that dad power. He's got a little bit of dad power over younger brother there. I think it's just big brother power. I've never had that. And he
Yeah.
always comes through a little. There's something about every time he gets into that red light camera's on. he seems to be able to push through. But it's great watching those guys compete together. I've never seen. It's awesome. They fight back
Yeah.
and forth and yell at each other, but they just keep on going.
So you guys that don't know Max and Bo, they were members with Coach Zup at Absolute Fitness, and
hmm
they came up to ETSU, came on as members at Thunder Valley. And I have to agree with you when it comes to talent. Max is he moves a little better.
uh-huh.
But when it comes to he's like a Kobe Bryant. Bo's like a Kobe Bryant. When it's game time and
Yeah,
you
he
need
just
someone to make the shot, that's who you're going to.
yep, he just that guy all the time. I will say now, I've been a lot healthier since they've not been around. They've broke me down, me trying to keep up with them. I had to get a new hip because of them.
I'm glad I got rid of them without a broken hip.
Yeah, let's say you're good.
But no, I want to wrap things up in the mindset of better every day. You're 48, 5 to 10 years from now. What do you see going on, or what would you what would you define as success from where you're at right now? And
Um,
what are you trying to
yeah,
accomplish?
I'd like to, for me right now, I said that's my retirement plan. I'd like to have a nice my weightlifting club going strong. I would like to think that maybe I have stepped away from not that I want absolute gone, but at least that I could step away and have it continually, have it still flowing, but really just be able to. And at that point, uh, just enjoying the fruits of where Timmy and Skylar are at that moment, at those moments. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I don't want to say where they're at because I want their dreams to come true, not mine. But yeah, just being able to have that. I've like I said, I've been blessed. I, I, I wouldn't say I work. I don't know. I'm sure you probably feel the same way. I being able to do something I love. Like I say, the mastering the life is not knowing whether you're at work or play or whether your politics or religion. You can't tell which one is which, and that's I feel like I'm there,
Hmm.
and so I just
No,
that's
there's so many people that dread going to work, and
yeah,
you just don't experience that in the fitness industry. A lot of times, it's a very fulfilling
yep,
and a rewarding position. You might not make the most amount of money, but
right. But I say those are things that you change. You realize it's not all about. It's not that doesn't do anything.
right, right. Well, Coach Zup, good having you on today.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I thanks. Hopefully, I didn't talk too fast for everybody. I know that New York comes out of me sometimes when I
No,
start talking.
not at all. You crushed it for your first podcast. I mean,
Well, thank you.
you're natural. So, um, hope to see you at some point this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Good luck on the platform.
Thank you.
And listeners, thanks for tuning in today. And we'll be in touch with you next week.
Appreciate it.